In the middle of the 19th century, the port of Echuca on the riverfront was the largest inland port in the country. Today, a walk along the old restored waterfront is an opportunity to experience something of that colourful past.
Trades from yesteryear, such as wood turning, are still practiced using the famous river red gums. Today, however, nearly all of the items turned out on the lathe are decorative pieces for the tourist trade.
The original wharf was 1/4 mile long and in 1875 was the base for 35 paddle steamers and 70 barges. It had 80 hotels and an unrecorded number of brothels. The brothels have gone, but paddle steamers still ply the muddy waters. The paddle boats use the restored part of the wharf mostly to carry tourists on cruises for relaxation.
Rotting hulks of old barges seem lost to the ravages of time and mud. However, one vessel, the paddle steamer Hero, once a wreck in the mud too, has been salvaged and is being restored to its original condition by shipwrights working at the old port site. Amazingly, the hull has already been rebuilt using the same techniques, with a concession to modern power tools. The superstructure is being completed to match the original, as it was in 1874 when it was launched.
The waterfront is a good place to bump into all sorts of colourful characters. People too. The art of the cooper, a barrel maker, is alive and well on the waterfront. Here daily demonstrations of the barrel maker's art can be witnessed in the cool of a large shed on Murray Esplanade. Old, used barrels are often refurbished by the cooper. The valuable French oak barrels are much sought after by the wineries for the maturation of fine wines, including port. Part of the process includes lighting a fire inside the barrels using French oak wood chips. The hoops are then expertly fitted to provide a watertight vessel. Many modern materials have been used to make barrels, but for the purist, there's no substitute for the real thing. And as long as there are purists, coopers will always have a job. An old art, alive and well in Echuca.
The old ways are also well and truly alive on the waterfront, where just on dusk we board the paddle steamer Emmylou, which is more than 100 years old. We're heading off on an overnight cruise and have booked our private cabins for the occasion. Even though it's midwinter, the warmth of the steam engine and the well-insulated cabins should keep the chilly night air at bay.
When all the passengers are accounted for, we cast off and the engineer stokes the old wood-fired boiler to keep up the steam. As the port of Echuca recedes into darkness, we move upstream at the gentle pace of another age. The steady throb of the steam engine and the muffled rhythm of the wooden paddles offers a reassuring accompaniment to our evening meal served on the back deck. Even the entertainment is of an earlier time. We tie up to the bank for a campfire chat before retiring for the night.
No.
Beautiful morning.
Morning on the Murray brings crisp, cool air, a light mist on the water, and lots of activity in the boiler room. While the engineer tops up the firebox, we top up our tummies in the dining room. Time to cast off and return to Echuca. The overnight campout, complete with evening meal, is quite a special experience. The Emmylou leaves Echuca every night but has a limited number of cabins. Some folks partake of the night cruise and dinner but return to town by vehicle when the boat ties up for the evening. For us though, the magic of the early morning cruise is what it's all about. This is as close as we can get to travelling back to days when the Murray River was like an inland highway carrying goods of trade to and from the pioneering settlements. Only our clothes are of this century. Everything else is as it would have been 100 years ago. Hundreds of paddle boats, just like the Emmylou, once plied this ancient river course, creating what must have been a hive of activity. Even today, the port of Echuca has the largest gathering of paddle steamers in the world. We return to the port by mid-morning and, with it, return to the present. Next, we camp in the Barmah forest.